Hey guys, in the previous video we saw different ways on how to create a project, and then we added our end-to-end test workflow file into this project. We also briefly touched upon different naming conventions such as Pascal case, camel case, kebab case, snake case. So if you missed that video, you can always go back to the playlist project 0 and you can find it again. At this moment, if you see, this file is not protected. If I accidentally delete it, my work will be lost. If I make some changes into it and if I save it, and then later if I want to revert back to the previous version, I will not be able to do so. So in this video, what we want to do is add a version control system to it, so that even if we accidentally delete it, we are able to recover it if we make some changes, and if you want to refer back to any previous versions, we are able to do so. So I will show you at least 3 different ways in which we can add version control system to it. So let's start with the easiest one. The easiest and the most straightforward one is you go to terminal, you go to the project repository, in this case 0, and then you just say git init. The moment you say this, it says initialized empty git repository, and if you go back and look at the repository, we will have now 3 repositories. So earlier we had only drawings and idea, but now a .git repository is created, which will now version control this project for every file that we add to it. All right, but we also want to see other ways of doing it. So for now, let's just delete it. If we delete it and if we go back to terminal, let's open Visual Studio Code, enter, come on. Now it opens Visual Studio Code. If I click on this icon, at this moment, because it has cached information from the .git repository from the previous command, it's showing this file to be version controlled. But that's not true, because we already have removed the .git repository. So if I refresh it, you can actually see that there is no version control system present here. And as you can see, VS Code provides you 2 different options. One is to initialize the repository, which is same as doing git init, and the other option is to not only initialize the repository, but you can initialize it and also publish it to GitHub. Now GitHub is a product from Microsoft like VS Code, and that's why you get this smooth integration between them. Now since we want to cover like handling of GitHub or handling of version control in cloud in a separate video, so for now we will not do this. We will just click on initialize repository. The moment you do this, you can again see that all the files that we have in a repository are now available for us to do a version control, right? But again, we want to see one more way in which we can do this. So let's go back to our repository and delete this again. So let's delete this again. If we go to VS Code, let's refresh it, and we are back to state 1. Now the last way in which I want to show this is by using IntelliJ. So if you open IntelliJ, at this moment it's showing git, because again it has also cached like VS Code and it's showing git. But typically if you create a new project, you don't see git here, but you see something called VCS. So let's see, if I go and create a new project, let's just see if that is true. Let's call it dummy and open in this window, and you can actually see that it's not git anymore, it's called as VCS. And if I click on VCS, then it gives you multiple options, same like create a git repository, share project on GitHub. At this moment, like I said, we don't want to share project on GitHub yet, so we will just create git repository. And if you click on dummy, and let's say if we change directory to dummy and open in Visual Studio Code, you can actually see that this project is also version control. It'll take a few seconds. You can see this is also version control. So with this, we actually saw 3 different ways. Let me close this. So we saw 3 different ways in which you can initialize your git repository, right? And now let's move ahead and actually start adding our file to the version control system. So let's go back to VS Code and let's initialize the repository one more time. So now the repository is initialized. You see a couple of files that that are present there that we're not interested in. We will handle them in a separate video. For now you can just ignore them. So at this moment the file that we're interested in is this one. So let's click on this, and by the way, you can see that if I click on this file, it opens up this nice view. If you will try to do the same thing on your machine, it might not work, because I've added a plugin to show draw IO files in VS Code. So if you also install a plugin, then you will also be able to see this information. So at this moment, let's call it initial commit. And now we have basically added our file, which was this file, to version control system, right? So now this is protected. How do we know? Let's do a quick test. Let me select this, and I will do a shift delete now, and it says, are you sure you want to permanently delete this file? I will say yes. If you look at this repository, the file is gone, right? But it's not really gone. How do I know this? If I open Visual Studio Code again, let's click on this, and it says in changes, this file was earlier present but now it's deleted. Do you want to commit it? If you really want to get rid of it, you click on stage, you give a message, and then the file will be gone forever. But that's not what I want. So let's unstage it, and if you click on this little icon, which is to revert back, discard changes, if I click on restore file, let's go back to the repository, and the magic is there. The file has come back again. So now your file is protected. Now let's see one more thing. So let's try to make some changes to this file, and let's see if we can go back to the previous versions. So let's open this file, and let's do one thing. If you remember, when we created this test workflow, we named our test automation framework as Hulk, right? Now since our framework's name is 0, let's replace Hulk everywhere with 0. Okay, so I'm back. So it took me a few minutes to replace all the instances of Hulk with 0, but now it's replaced. So let's save it, file save. Let's close it. Let's open it in the version. Let's open it in version control. As you can see, if I click on this file now, this file is now changed, and normally it's a binary file, so you will not be able to see the changes, but we know that we replaced all the instances of Hulk with 0 now, right? So let's commit this, and let's call it replaced name Hulk with name 0, right? So now it's done. And now imagine that if you want to, so let's open the file, open the file again. Let's go to drawings. Now if I open the file, you will see that everywhere the project is changed to 0. But imagine that maybe after some time you do not want to share this version with somebody else, but maybe you wanted to share the version with the name Hulk in it. How can you do it? It's very easy. Let's go back to our terminal. Let's go to Visual Studio Code. I'm opening PowerShell here, and if you do git log, you can see we have 2 git commits here, the initial commit that we made and the one where we said replace name Hulk with name 0. So if I want to go back to this commit, all I need to do is I can say git checkout, and if I say C5E, did not match. Okay, so I was thrown off a little bit. I was trying to check out the commit by doing git log. I had 2 commits. I was trying to check out this commit C5E, and when I did git checkout C5E, I was getting these weird errors, because for some reason instead of 3, maybe I have to give like 1 or 2 more characters, and then it's able to check out. And now it says head is now at this commit, and let's go back to the repository, and let's see if I open the file now. It should show us the file with name Hulk, and not with file 0, right? Because that's the commit that we have checked out now. So as you can see, you are now able to get a previous version of your file, so you are able to recover it. You can make a copy of it and you can send it to somebody else. Now if I close this file again, let's go back to VS Code. If I do a git log again, you can see it's only showing me one commit, right? Now if I want to go back to all my commits, all I have to do is git checkout dash, and if I do that, it says previous head position was this, switch to branch master, and if I do git branch again, or basically git log again, I'm able to see both the commits. And if I now go back and let's say open this, you will see project 0 in this file. So this way we quickly demonstrated that how you can version control a file. If you delete it, you are able to recover it. If you change it, you can always go back to any previous versions, right? So if you want to know more about if you want to read more about Git, there's tons of information available on internet. And in fact, if you just go and look and search for this Git official documentation, so if you just say Git documentation, you will get this documentation from Git SCM. I will again put this link in the description below, and you can download this reference manual. You can download the whole book. I remember reading the whole book a few years back, and it basically interested me to start using Git. So that's it about this video, and in the next video what we will do is, so at this moment we have, even though this project is protected, it's in our local machine, right? And it's not really protected, in the sense, if I delete this file, of course I'm able to recover this file. But if someone goes and deletes the whole project, then again I lose all of my work. So what I really want to do is publish this work on a cloud such as GitHub or Bitbucket, so that my work is really protected. And that's also the way in which anybody can now like I can share my work, and anybody should be able to pull the latest version on their machines. So that is going to be the topic for our next video, which is about how to share your work on GitHub. So I hope you again learned something new or something useful in this video, and I'm looking forward to see you again in another video. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.